just sit around in our house. This goes without saying, really, that if you're doing it for the money, then it's probably not going to end out very well for you in the end. So.
Yeah, basically, if you're choosing a sport of any kind at a high level, you're choosing the opportunity and the risk to really do a lot of damage that you can't get back, and that either is or isn't worth a price to certain people. But let's move on to let's jump down that roster a little bit more for the Duke roster. Who else do we have? We have Zion Williamson, who is obviously a high school phenom. Who else we have on there that's returning this year?
I pulled up the Duke basketball roster here, and one player I want to talk about right now is Zion Williamson, who, if any high school basketball watchers particularly, they know who this guy is already. We've already watched a lot of clips on him. Let me get your take on it, Dad.
Well, Zion Williamson seems to be a very together individual. Just watching his performance against Toronto from the clips that you showed me earlier today, this afternoon, he's quite impressive. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders and is very mature. He seems to play above his years in terms of the way he conducts himself, the way he moves. You mentioned he's 280 pounds, 6'7", but he doesn't move like that at all. He moves very quickly. He handles his size very well. That's going to translate well to the next level. My first impression, to answer your question, and looking at the footage that you showed me, was that he seems to play with a high level of skill and a low level of attitude, which is very good. And I would say that Coach K is really loving having that on his team this year.
Yeah, especially with departure of Grayson Allen and after all of his controversial trips and stuff. So
yeah, there's a lot to that. There's no doubt that it's easy to kind of demonize Grayson Allen because of the moves that were made out of frustration. But it's not to take anything away from him as an individual. He seems to, and that's a lot of pressure to put any young person into. It must be overwhelming. And we went to a Virginia game last year, and I just kept thinking from the stands, watching these guys down here, that they really are on a big stage. And they're very young, so that must have its pressures and its setbacks for kids that aren't necessarily mature enough to handle that kind of pressure of a bunch of people looking at you, yelling at them from the stands in frustration and in joy. It must be strange to as a young person. We see this, I guess, at junior high school level and high school level. You do see a certain amount of high-level audiences coming to watch you play, but not like that, and not the kind of vitriol and the hatred that you get from the crowd. That must be very challenging to take.
Yeah, it is, and like Grayson Allen, his tripping stuff is all over now, and he's a great player. I mean, he went to the NBA, he's in the NBA already, playing for the Utah Jazz, and so he's a great player.
You have to say that he's a winner. I mean, Grayson Allen contributed massively to the Duke team. He, to me, is a role player and played his role very well, but he did it. He was very dominant in that position. You have to give nothing but credit to Grayson Allen.
Yeah, Zion Williamson is a very, very skilled and very talented athlete, a really explosive player, a really good all-around basketball player. He doesn't just dunk and do layups and push people around. He can shoot, he can space the floor.
Well, he definitely seemed to display a high level of those things, especially with the passing. I liked the way he was distributing as he was spreading out the floor, like you said.
We have returning for Duke, we have Jack White, who did really well last year for the minutes he played. He kind of came on as the end of those games, that's like blowout games, but he still did really well. I'm sure he's going to be more of a role player this year, but he's definitely going to be more a part of the rotation this year.
And I think Bolden came back this year, didn't he?
Yeah, Bolden will be back this year. He will be returning as a junior. And I think that this year he will get much more play time and much more ability to show what he's really like. Because I know that he's capable of doing a lot of things. But since last year, we had Wendell Carter Jr. and Bagley that were just taking his spot basically the whole time, that he will definitely have much more time to show how really good he is.
And so McConnell is coming back, and I understand that Tyus Jones, previous Duke player, phenom, a really good point guard, his younger brother will be attending and will be on the team.
Yeah, Tyus Jones' younger brother, Trey Jones, he was a really good high school athlete. I think he was number 10. Yeah, according to 247sports.com, I think he was number 10 in the country for high school, which I think is number 1 for point guards.
Oh, he is a point guard also?
Yeah, he's a point guard, so And I haven't really seen much of his game, but I've seen a few clips, and apparently he's a really good shooter and a really good playmaker, and he's really fast, so he'll be a good asset to that team too.
Nice. We'll be touching on a lot more of this type of information, breaking down rosters and any other useful information on the basketball landscape that we can. What do you have on the soccer landscape? What do you see for UVA soccer this year?
UVA soccer will be, I'm going to go ahead and say it'll probably be stronger than last year, even with the departure of Opoku and Caldwell.
Yeah, Jeff Caldwell was a standout goalkeeper for Virginia. He went on to the professional level after finishing his senior year last year. And Edward Opoku is a Ghana native who is a Virginia striker, a forward position player who was just amazingly fast and explosive on the field. Very fun to watch, and they had a very fun team to watch. It was very disappointing to watch them go down in the tournament so earlier last year, but it's okay. The competition is just amazing at the NCAA level. These guys are all pro-level players without question.
There are a few players, or more than a few players, returning this year to UVA's roster. Robin Afamafuna and Sergi Noose, Prosper Figby and Nathaniel Crofts.
A lot of strong players are definitely returning to the Virginia roster, and it looks like they're picking up a few more as well. In fact, one of the strikers our son played with for a little while at PH a couple of years ago, Patrick Henry High School here in Roanoke, Virginia, and his name is Iracosi Donaciano. Yeah, it looks like a nice, strong returning group for the Virginia team, and looking forward to watching them again this year.
It's always fun to watch all these teams come out and play and do really well.
The football season should be very interesting for Virginia, and it always is for so many others as well. It's always a big question mark. It's always exciting to watch these games, and it's neat to be able to do these shows with Nathan. This was just kind of an introductory show to get Nathan used to being behind the microphone and talking and sharing with others in a connected way. The type of the information that we here at home know that he really does discipline himself to study and to understand, and I think it's just a good experience for himself and for myself as well. So we're looking forward to getting into more of these of a linear flow on how all this will actually sound and take place in the next few episodes as we dial in our approach to the program itself. So I'm very proud of him for wanting to do it at all, and it's not as easy as it would seem, and I think he realizes this, and we appreciate your patience, and I hope that you enjoy the information as it comes out.
Thanks again, guys, for joining us. My name is Nathan Morrow.
My name is Mark Morrow, guys. We look forward to catching you next time on the Sixth Man Report.